guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Caitlin and this is going to be a belated review for the newest addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Spider-Man Homecoming. I saw the film roughly about a week ago. I haven't had the chance to film this until now, so lots of you have probably either seen the film or have decided not to see the film, but I just wanted to talk about it a bit and share my opinions basically. So some of this is going to be quite spoiler heavy, well, not spoiler heavy, I'll try and keep most of the main spoilers out of here, but there might be some spoilers, so just a quick warning if you haven't seen the film. Spider-Man is a little bit unusual when it comes to as an addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, mainly because unlike a lot of the other characters in there, like you know, the original Iron Man, Captain America, Ant-Man, Black Widow, you know, these Marvel characters don't have a lot of cinematic presence outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But Spider-Man's, that's not the case, because this is the third actor to be playing Spider-Man in 15 years, and, you know, another kind of reboot of it all, and this is the 6th film. So there's a lot of baggage that comes with Spider-Man, and, you know, so that's going to shift quite a lot of opinions, and I find that really interesting. In my opinion, this is the best one so far. This is the best Spider-Man movie so far, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, I never really liked the first Spider-Man trilogy. It never really appealed to me. Andrew Garfield just didn't seem like Peter Parker to me. I have read some of the Spider-Man comics, to be honest, more of the Spider-Man Ultimate comics, so that might actually shape my opinion of this film a little bit, of Spider-Man Homecoming. But yeah, I was like 8 when the first Spider-Man film came out, and it just didn't appeal to me. And then in 2012, when the Amazing Spider-Man films came out, I really liked the first one. Sort of, like, it was a good fit, I found an entertaining film, but the second one felt really busy to me. Like, it felt like they were trying to cram a lot in there, and it just didn't appeal to me so much. So going into this one, I was kind of optimistic, because Spider-Man Homecoming, you know, it is Spider-Man not just school homecoming, but homecoming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, placing him with all these other heroes. So I was really excited for that. I say really excited for that, to be honest, less excited than some other Marvel films. I was a bit Spider-Man out, as I think a lot of people were, but I was interested to see what they'd do with Spider-Man, and in my opinion, it's the best Spider-Man film. Some people might not agree with me on that, but I found it a really solid, fun film. I think Marvel Cinematic is so universally competent at creating these superhero character stories that, that sort of the image of Spider-Man really works in that universe, and the image of Peter Parker really works in that universe. So yeah, I'm going to start off talking about what I really liked about the film, so the good bits. In my opinion, the strongest aspect of this film is the character aspect, going with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, as Peter Parker. A lot of Spider-Man in this film is definitely a teenager. He is presented very much as a teenager. He's 15 years old, and Tom Holland is very, very believable as a 15-year-old. He is the youngest actor to play Spider-Man at 19 at the time it was filmed, and you know, where both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, the other Spider-Mans, were in their mid to late 20s. Well, Tom Holland does have that younger, and the teenage aspect works really well. This is very much a high school film. If you don't like high school films, that might be a bit of an issue for you, but what it is, you know how different Marvel movies do different genres within the series, like Ant-Man's a heist movie, Captain America Civil War is a political thriller, not Civil War, Winter Soldier is a political thriller. You have this aspect, well, Spider-Man is very much a high school film. You have different high school tropes in there, and Peter Parker is very much a teenager. He's 15 years old, and he acts 15, and he looks 15, and he's completely believable as a 15-year-old. The high school aspects, I think, are, again, high school dramas are not exactly my favourite genre of film, so there are some tropes in there which I was like, oh no. But they actually play it off really well. It's a solid solid depiction of high school, which actually makes sense because some of the creative aspects of the film, it was actually John Francis Daly was actually a part of the creative team for the film, and he was a character in Freaks and Geeks, a very well-known high school series, and Spider-Man Homecoming does bring in some aspects of that sort of Freaks and Geeks element, so that I really like that. So shout out to John Francis Daly. I'm really glad he's doing a lot of creative work now, and it works really well in Spider-Man. And again, speaking of Freaks and Geeks, the actor who played Bill on Freaks and Geeks was also a character. He played the teacher who helped with the school decathlon in this thing, so there's some Freaks and Geeks references in there which made me smile. I really like that. Yeah, I really liked the humour in this film, which again ties into the high school. It was very much high school humour, and as much as that can sometimes make me groan in other films, I thought that Spider-Man really did it well. It was a very funny film. Had one of those really cool tropes, which I know is so groan-worthy, but I can't help but fall for it every time, where it's like, oh my god, I'm trapped in a thing, and then you have this extended montage of, you know, people doing something, like Peter, he's hanging around, he's swinging from webs, he's doing stuff, and it's like, oh, how long's it been? It's been 35 minutes. Oh, it makes me laugh every time. I don't know why I keep, that just makes me giggle, so that made me laugh. So the humour in the film's really good, at least in my opinion. I thought the villain was really good. Michael Keaton is a fantastic villain. He is chilling and threatening, but he's also very understandable. Like, his reason for being a villain is not take over the world, it's I want to protect my family, I want to support my family, I've been screwed over by the system in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the heroes and the stuff, I'm gonna have this gang, I'm gonna, you know, not gonna spoil too much into it, but his reasons are very, very understandable going forward. So even when he's facing off against Spider-Man and he's a villain, so you want to see him, you know, he's the Vulture, you want to see him lose, but you can also understand where he's coming from. And I think he's a very appropriately aimed villain for Peter Parker, because if, say, he was going against someone like Iron Man or Captain America, it'd be like, okay, no, they could take him down quite easily, but with Spider-Man, who is so young and quite so inexperienced, and being a hero, he hasn't been a hero for very long, it seems he is a very threatening villain to that level, so I thought it was very appropriately put. What I quite liked is that when it came to Peter Parker as a hero, his motivations weren't so much what Spider-Man typically is, which is the guilt of not stopping Uncle Ben's murder, which that might be an aspect in it, to be honest. The murder of Uncle Ben, and Uncle Ben as a character, is not in this film. You don't get a rehash of the origin story, which I really like, because to be honest, no one needs that anymore. Everyone knows how Spider-Man became Spider-Man, so I like that they didn't have that in there. There are some references that you can pick up, but it's not too explicit to be boring. So this is a very not angsty Spider-Man, which I like. There was not a moment in this movie where I was like, oh my god, Peter, shut up. Like, shut up, stop whining. Like, I know you just lost a family member, I know it's angsty, but you play, like, the other Spider-Man films tended to play that a little bit too much. While this Spider-Man film didn't feel like it needed to do that, went with its own adventure, and I really appreciated that. And what I quite liked is, like, unlike the girl, he's like, oh, I must keep my secret identity to keep my family safe. It's like, oh no, I must keep my secret identity because otherwise Aunt May won't let me do it. I'm 15, I won't be allowed. Which I felt was really good, and it played into the age of the character and it felt more realistic. Speaking of realism, despite the fact that it's a Spider-Man movie, it's a comic book movie, it's an MCU movie, it's one of the most realistically felt Spider-Man movies I've seen, in that the MCU has built up their image of New York very groundedly. They have, you know, you see other aspects of New York in, say, the Netflix series where it's Jessica Jones, or Daredevil with Hell's Kitchen, or Harlem with Luke Cage. You see aspects of New York, so when they depict Queens and Spider-Man's hangouts, it feels very realistic and very grounded. Same as the high school, it feels like a high school, not just a place where Spider-Man kind of is, where the other Spider-Man films may have felt like that, and other superhero films kind of feel like that. What I really liked as well is the placement of the MCU in the film. It very much places it there, but to me it's not gratuitous. I know other people might call it gratuitous because there's a lot of references. I know some in high school scenes they say they play like F, Marry, Kill with Avengers, and some people might feel like it's a bit on the nose, but I felt it really, you know, I've been in school, I played F, Marry, Kill with my friends when I was a kid. It felt realistic to me. You know, there was the sort of the Captain America motivational videos, which I can't really take Steve doing that seriously from the character in the films, but they were funny. I liked that gag, it really worked for me. I liked the depictions of, I know not everyone liked the whole MJ, Michelle, Zendaya thing. I really liked that, I found that fine. To be honest, Mary Jane's very rarely depicted very well in my opinion, so I don't mind the direction that they took with that. The film's very much placed in the it takes more influence from the Ultimate Universe comics, which I like quite a lot. The only things, you know, Aunt May is really good in it. Tony Stark's really good in it. I like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. He was in it like the right amount. I thought there might be a bit too much of him going off the trailers, but there wasn't. He was really good. The only thing I'd say with him is that maybe he shouldn't be a mentor to anyone. He's not a stable enough person to be a mentor or father figure, but he tries hard. The only thing that I don't particularly like, which, no, I don't particularly like, I think this is a good solid film. The only thing that I'd put caution is if you don't like high school tropes or kid, you know, the more yeah, kid focused aspects of the film, you might not like it. If you don't like just the standard Marvel films, you're probably not gonna like it. The bits that kind of was like, oh, that's weird to me were, there's a bit, I know other YouTube people have commented on this, like I know What Culture did a video on it, in that the Spider-Man Homecoming kind of messes with the Marvel timeline a little bit, because what they do is the films are typically set in the year that the film comes out. So Spider-Man Homecoming actually comes out in 2016 because it's set 2 months after Civil War, which actually how you introduce Peter in this film is he's doing like a little vlog of his actions in Civil War, which I found really cute and fun. A really good introduction to his character in this film. In that, but it's set 2 months after that, so it's 2016. But then there's a flashback earlier on in the movie to the aftermath of the Chitauri invasion, which is set in 2012. And then there's a clip being like 8 years later, and that 2012 to 2016 is not 8 years, so okay, that's just a bit weird. But yeah, that's pretty much it. No other major criticisms. I prefer more women in these movies. I prefer if, I understand why they don't have Gwen Stacy, because there's like a lot of baggage with her from the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and there are other things, but to be honest, I like Liz Allen in this thing, and again there are women characters there, but I wish there were more. That's just a general criticism I have of quite a lot of films. I think it's a solid film. It's still out in the cinemas, so go check it out if you want to. And I will be back soon with another video on another topic, probably, so I will see you then. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and comment below if you want to talk about Spider-Man. See you then. Bye guys.